Hey everybody, I'm back from a nice little trip to a whole bunch of places, do some grocery shopping with the ladies. What can I say? I'm a pimp. Anywho, so the last question I answered was about had I ever been to the States, and I said yes. Now, I'm actually running out of room on this computer, so I might have to make my answers a little quicker, but still as thorough as possible. So the next one is, do you smoke? And would you date a girl who smokes? And have you ever smoked weed? You ever seen the back of a $5 bill? On weed? It's whack, man! Anywho, half baked there for you. Do I smoke? No. Because it bothers my eyes, bothers my nose, and bad for the lungs, and blah, blah, blah. Just not very good for me, personally. And would I date a girl who smokes? If it doesn't become too much of a problem, but I would have to give it serious thought. I'd have to be head over heels for her, kind of thing. And I have dated girls who've smoked before, and man, sometimes like they might want to kiss me right after they smoke. It's like kissing an ashtray. It's like, blah. And but I had to power through it before, because when I was a teenager and I was dating this one girl that smoked, just kissing her, it felt like a chore. But she was the most popular girl in school, so you know. But nowadays, no. I don't know. I'd have to think about it. I have to be in the moment to answer a question like that. So it's the best answer I can give you. As for, have you ever smoked weed? I don't really feel comfortable answering that on camera, but I don't know. Use your imagination and try to figure out the answer for yourself. Anywho, the next question we have, or the next person we have, comment removed. Author withheld. Well, that was easy. Moving on. Dr. Dra Bahamut or Bahamut Shiroseni. Whatever, it's a long name. He's got some questions. If Sony does with their PS4 what's Microsoft is doing with the Xbox One with used game fee and all, do you think Nintendo will win this generation console war by default? I don't know. But if I had to guess, I'd still think PS4 would come out on top this time around. The Wii U, I don't know, man. I have my doubts about this system. Like, the Wii U is like, just as powerful as the PS3? Which is fine, but come on, these guys are starting to become a generation behind. Granted, they have some interesting ideas with the whole take your game anywhere kind of thing, but there's also the PS Vita that can somewhat do that to an extent. And the Xbox One, well, I don't even know. I don't know. I wish I had an answer. I wish I knew so that I could plan ahead, but I don't. So we're just gonna have to wait it out for a little while, unfortunately. It's best. That's the best I can do for now. I wish I had a better answer. Maybe after E3 I'll have a better answer. But I do plan on doing another Q&A sometime soon, actually, just in case the people who didn't get theirs in time. Like, I decided to wait the weekend. Anywho. That's the best I can do for that question. If Nintendo, number 2, if Nintendo should give future Legend of Zelda game voice acting, what will your reaction be? If there's voice acting, sure. I'll accept it, and guess what? If it doesn't work, then they just won't do it again, hopefully. If, you learn their lesson. But I kind of I wish they would do like more cell shaded. Like, I know they've been doing it a bunch, but I want them to go really cartoony like they did with Wind Waker. That is a beautiful looking game. And granted, I liked Twilight Princess, but it still looked, I don't know, it almost looked like a step backwards, in my opinion. Because the graphics of the Wind Waker, they're almost timeless. 10 years from now, you could look at that game and be like, yeah, this is nice. I like this. As opposed to like looking at a PlayStation 1 fighting game, like a Virtual Fighter, and being like, ugh, it's so late 90s. But as for voice acting, I mean, sure, give it a try. But like the best that I can. Sorry, I had something on my foot, like dirt. So I don't know. Stepped in. Anywho. For voice acting, I don't know, for Link, just give him the hoo-ha, because up to this point he's been a silent protagonist. Even in the games, you don't see him saying, like, I did this thing, except for Zelda 2, but it's my favorite game of all time, so I like to imagine he's thinking it in his head. He's not saying, I found a mirror under the table, That's just, like, in his mind, he's thinking that. That's for the benefit of you, the player. So, anyway, and 3, should Nintendo make a turn-based Legend of Zelda RPG for a change to try something different? I means it's work for Mario, so why not have a Zelda RPG game for a change? Well, after deciphering that, I understand what he means. It's kind of like Mario RPG Legend 7 Stars, and then afterwards Paper Mario. You know what? I'd give it a shot. I wouldn't spearhead the thing, but if Nintendo wants to do it, I'd be all game for it. And I could see it too. It kind of makes me think like Final Fantasy VII kind of thing, because you got Cloud's got the big sword, and it was still turn-based, kind of, some slice and dice. Slice and dice. So, yeah, I don't know. Give it a shot. I'd be game for it. I love turn-based RPGs. I love Zelda. Come on, just marry the two together. But sure, but to be honest, I still prefer the action RPG Zelda stuff. In fact, the new one that's coming out, the sequel to Link to the Past, I mean, come on. Link to the Past is loved by everybody around my age. And hopefully people younger, hopefully people, it's loved by a lot of people. And, yeah, so hopefully it works out. And the whole gimmick where you can, like Link's walking along and then he goes flat and he becomes like a shadow against the wall. They can move around little tight corners and stuff. Awesome. And if it takes place in the Link to the Past universe, which looks pretty much exactly the same as the one I remember, mwah, Zelda Gold. You've done it again. As for an RPG, sure, why not? Alana115 says, I have 3 questions for you, Armageddon. 1, do you love Let's Playing? Yes. I've done 73 of them. I'm currently, as of this recording, in the middle of Let's Play Sonic the Hedgehog for Game Gear, my 73rd Let's Play. Well, there's still an unfinished one with Cyber Eclipse, the first Lufia game, but since we've already kind of been in the middle of it, it's just on hiatus, so I still include it in the lore. Number 2, what are your opinions on the so-called Xbox One? Already answered, but thank you anyway. Number 3, what type of games do you like, RPGs or platformers? Both! Well, wait, he says platformers. Oh, whatever. I forgive grammar and spelling to an extent. If it's not readable, then get out of here. But yes, I like RPGs, I like platformers, I like puzzle games. I like some puzzle games. I don't like all puzzle games. I love adventure games, point and clicks. But I'd say my bread and butter are platformers and RPGs. Because, I'm from NES days, grew up with the NES and Super NES. So those are big, like action games. Your Marios, your Zeldas, your Sonics. I've never played a Phantasy Star game, though. Like the RPG. Which is strange, because, Phantasy Star gets a lot of praise. And I've never, ever played one. So, I don't know, maybe I'll look at that in the future. So, yeah, there you go. Who's next? Tim Fifth. My first question is, what was your worst high school memory? My worst high school memory. Oh, man, I have to reach back in the past for that. I was in high school from 1996 till what? 2002? 2 or 3? I don't know. I'm just trying to do this off the top of my head. My worst high school experience. I don't know. I'd gotten into a lot of trouble there, but not for nothing serious. I got caught fooling around with a couple people, like an orgy. No, there were a couple times that I got caught fooling around with somebody before, and I had to kind of try to backpedal to keep a lid on it. Because, I don't know, for some reason I didn't want that stuff getting out. I look back now and it should have been like, ArmagideonTime, pull your head out of your ass and just accept it for what it is. You and a girl, you got down, you got freaky. You're in high school, your hormones are going nuts. Just let it go, man. Just let it go. Well, I don't know, that's the best I can think of off the top of my head. Granted, as soon as I turn off this recording, I'll be like, wait! But it's the best I can do for now. My second question, what was your worst dunk moment? My worst dunk, well, to be literal, my worst dunk moment was when I lived with my parents while I was going to the blind school. We had, back at the house, we had a hoop that my dad actually installed, and he even wrote like our my brother's and mine initials in the cement that the pole had to go into, and like, it was like, you know, J dot C dot, and then like last name, and then the year, which is like 94 or 93, something like that. But anyway, eventually, you know, puberty happens, you grow up, and suddenly like I'm dunking like crazy because this hoop was like the net was really low, so I was jumping and hanging off of the thing, and one time I was hanging off of it and fingers slipped and hit the back of my head on the pavement. So yeah, it was my worst dunk moment for sure that comes off the top of my head. You probably meant worst drunk moment, and well, I can think of a lot of worse ones that I probably want to keep under wraps for now. I don't know. I might think of a good one next round. So ask me the question again. So just so I can have something in mind, you know. Maybe the next round I'll read the questions ahead of time so I have better stories to tell. But for this one, it's just right off the top, right off the cuff. So we have the Moogle Master, who asks, "What do you think of the movie Bolt? It's my favorite movie. Never seen it. Don't really feel like seeing it. Sorry, that's just how I feel." Number 2, is there a game you played as a kid then drove you nuts and never beat? Fester's Quest for the NES. All I'm gonna say. Number 3, what is your all-time favorite RPG? Mine would be Final Fantasy VI. Mine would be Final Fantasy VI. Good job, Moogle Master. You have, I don't know, achievement unlocked. Armagideon Time. Pick best favorite RPG. 20 points. I don't know, do you get points for achievements? I don't know. So yes, Final Fantasy VI thus far is my favorite RPG. But there's a lot of RPGs out there that I have never tried. Like I said, I've never played a Phantasy Star game. Let's see. Sponge the Kid asks, where did you come up with your username? Well, Armageddon Time is a song by, I think it's actually first written by Willie Williams and then covered by The Clash, which is my favorite band of all time. And it's not my favorite song of theirs by far. I think it's a so-so song. I just like how the name looks, like the aesthetics of the letters, and just how it sounds. Armageddon Time. It pretty much just means Armageddon time, you know. But I don't know, I just like how it sounds, I like how it looks, it's just aesthetically pleasing to my eye. Next, worst game you ever bought? Fester's Quest for the NES. Well, technically I didn't buy it, I got it as a gift, but I had the choice between Fester's Quest for the NES and The Legend of Zelda for the NES. I had no idea. It was the box art that fooled me because I'd never seen a Zelda commercial up to that point. And the box art, I thought the game was for adults because it looked all fanciful and there weren't any cartoons on it, and there was like, it looked all serious business with a shield and keys and hearts and whatnot. So I thought, it's probably going to be something like, oh, what is that game called? Taboo. So, yeah, instead I got Fester's Quest because Fester's going on the cover, and he's got a creepy spider on his head, and he's cool Addams Family creepy thing in the background. So, yeah, biggest mistake. So, yeah, the first Zelda game I ever played and owned was Zelda 2. Nero Sephiroth asks, what is your favorite video game song? Oh, that's hard, man. No, not Hard Man from Mega Man 3. Don't get the wrong idea, but I don't know. Here, like, some favorites are the Overworld theme from Final Fantasy VI, the World of Balance theme, anyway, Terra's theme, the Overworld themes from the Zelda series. I really like those. Except for Ocarina of Time. Never was a really big fan of bum 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 ba-dum, na, 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 na. Like, it's catchy enough, but it didn't really get me pumped, you know? It was kind of like, okay, let's just get from point A to point B and do whatever. But hate mail, here it come. I prefer Majora's Mask anyway. So, code ouch. Oh god, here. Why is your brother so superior? Well, you're taller than me, so like if obviously you mean superior as in the height, and that's pretty much it. Is you're taller than me. If it were a superiority of mind, well, I always come out on top. I mean, come on. Next, Gothic X Kiss 88. Oh, okay. Why are you always so animated? I don't know. It's to make the video more pleasing to the eye, so it isn't just me sitting here like this, simply talking into a screen. It might look kind of strange. So, you know, facial expressions and stuff like that to kind of enhance, you know. Why do you talk with your hands? I don't know, you know, to try and make things a little more grandiose and kind of, you know, elongate, you know, the meanings of things and try and interlock, you know, animation with words. Yeah. Who was your favorite girlfriend? And what's your dream girl? Dream girl is someone who, I don't know. My dream girl is just someone who likes me and won't treat me bad like past girlfriends have. And someone who, I don't know, preference. I don't know, someone who at least tolerates video games, who's like, yeah, I'd play those. They don't have to be hardcore, because I was with somebody like that once, and it ended badly. And as for my, I don't know, wearing glasses helps, because when I was in W. Ross, the blind school I went to, pretty much all the girls there wore glasses. So I kind of got used to that, and I guess maybe it just subconsciously in my brain is like, you like girls who wear glasses. So it's not a deal breaker by far. I've dated, you know, a couple girls that didn't wear glasses, but the majority, at least in high school, was glasses. So there you go. No, my favorite girlfriend. You know what? I did have a favorite girlfriend. Like the one that probably treated me the nicest was Julie, actually. Granted, you know, we all have our faults, but you know, she supported the things that I did. She liked that I was all into sports and stuff. But granted, this was earlier high school, like grade 9 and 10, and then again like a year later in 11. So also, she's the longest relationship I ever had, 11 months. So there you go. And I don't know, she was just a big supporter of things I did. The things that not so good were, she kind of whined, but I mean, high school, right? It's all petty high school things anyway. Like, I'm sure the people that I dated are hopefully different nowadays. And probably, you know, thinking about it. Anyway, I'm starting to feel a little awkward answering this, so there you go. Next up, Largest 85. What was the last ever wrestling match you watched before you quit watching wrestling? I forget. Thoughts on Bret the Hitman Hart? Well, I still remember the famous screw job from the Iron Man match. I remember watching it like as it happened with Shawn Michaels, and he was supposed to have just retained Bret Hart was supposed to retain the title, but then they're like, this match will continue until there is a winner, because there was a tie. It ended in a tie of no wins, no losses for anybody. So then they're both really tired after an hour-long match, and then Shawn Michaels wins, and the title becomes his. And it was not supposed to go down that way, because you know the stuff is scripted. But it was not supposed to go that way. Bret Hart was thrown off his game, so there you go. So, but I like the sharpshooter as a move, as a maneuver. I like that he's Canadian. His brother was kind of cool as a heel. I didn't really like Owen Hart as a good guy. I thought it felt kind of weird. But as bad guy, yeah, the Black Heart, Owen Hart. Drink your milk, eat your vitamins. Thoughts on Razor Ramon and thoughts on Raven. Razor Ramon, he's the bad guy. He takes his pick out and throws it at the camera. That's all I gotta say. And Raven, well, wait, you mean like Vulcan Raven from Metal Gear Solid, or Quoth the Raven Nevermore, or Emo Raven from WCW? I don't really care about him either way. From Drew Pickles. Okay. Why do all Canadians say a boot instead of about, and oot instead of out? Not a diss, just curious. We don't say a boot. If we pay attention to ourselves, at least I notice, I end up saying a boat. I'm on a boat, a boat, instead of about, because sometimes we'll just be, a little of this, a little of that. Well, what about that? What about this? So it's what a boat. I don't know where a boot came from, or oot a boot. So I don't know. It's more oat in a boat, especially if you listen to people from the East Coast. What are the pros and cons about living in Canada? It's damn cold. We do not have long summers. The beaches are not open long enough. There's a lot of mosquitoes here. These are cons. We don't get Hulu, I guess. I don't know. Pros, free healthcare, which is nice. People are nicer. You don't have to be as freaked out about walking the streets, I guess. I know I'm stereotyping Americans, but I don't know. That's all I can think of. We have a lot of maple syrup, which is awesome, especially the fresh stuff from Quebec. Oh, so good. And poutine. We have poutine, and hockey is cool. So there you go. Do you lift weights or work out at all? Do you even lift? Clearly I don't. As you can see, my arm fat is less left to be desired. But I used to in high school. Oh man, we're running 22 minutes again. I used to do a lot of working out. Like I had like a 2-pack. It's probably as good as I got. And he's still cutting albums to this day, even though he's been long dead. No, I had probably, I don't know, like the best I had was a 2-pack, but I was lean. I was like thin. Normally a thin guy. I'm not thin anymore. But I don't know. I just did a lot of sports because I got bored. When I get bored, I'd want to do stuff. So I just joined, judo and the wrestling team and cross country team and the track and field team. So I just joined everything. But then university comes around and I just get lazy, working my mind more than my body. And, well, here I am, Fatty Magoo. So, do you even lift? No. Do you drink, and how often, if so? Man, you ask a lot of questions. I do have the occasional brew. No, I don't even like beer. And I don't like beer of any kind. I've tried a lot of beers. They're all disgusting. Beer aftertaste is morbid. Leo bees. And how often? I don't know. Maybe once or... I don't want to say once or twice a month, because that sounds like too much. But, I don't know. It really depends if there's like a celebration, or if there's a party, if there's a birthday, or... I don't know, just celebrating something. There's usually a reason to. It's not just, well, it's Saturday, Although sometimes that has happened. But that's after like a long period of just nothing going on. You want to mix things up. I've done some Let's Plays after drinking, and so you should check those out. I think I've labeled them Let's Play whatever, drunk. Okay, next we have Christ Novoselic, or Christ Novoselic. I hope it's Christ Novoselic. That would be cool. And Mew ask a lot of questions. Question 1, have you ever met and hung out with NecroVMX, and how old were you guys when you first met? Did you guys go to the same school? No. We did not go to the same school. I live in Canada. He lives in the States. It'd be very, I don't know, summer-fall relationship. No, he's like just like a year older than me. But no, we did not go to the same school. How old were you guys when you first met? I don't know. I don't even know how long it's been. I remember posting my first interaction technically with him was I posted on his Castlevania 2 videos. Because I said, I'm going to watch every one of these because I'm a cool man. And I'm going to post something on every video because I'm a guy. So I did that. And then I finally got his email somehow, or AIM, or something like that. And then, he's like, geez, finally. I'm like, oh, okay. So then we just started striking up conversation. And he actually introduced me to a whole bunch of cool heavy metal stuff. So, yeah. And what else? Have you ever met and hung out with NecroVMX? No, I've never, joined up and, had a magical adventure with him. Though I guess that'd be pretty cool, but that'd be expensive to go all the way there. Question 2. What are your thoughts on Avril Lavigne? She sucks! Next. Question 3. Who are some of your favorite subscribers that you talk to often and who you get along well with? Well, I know there's a couple people that I do trade back and forth with just like comments on their page. But people who I've interacted on a more interactive level would be NecroVMX, Malice Caliber. I've actually Skyped with him. I've done some Let's Talk with Malice Caliber. He's the one that, unbeknownst to him, egged me on to do that Let's Play Pulse Man, because I watched him play through it a little bit, and he was like, oh god, it's so terrible. My mind is melting out of my ears. But he's a cool Brit. Commonwealth, am I right? Actually, I don't think Canada is part of the Commonwealth anymore. Maybe we are. I thought there was like the Canada Act the year I was born or something like that. I don't even know. The Queen's still on our money, so there you go. But let's see, Malice Caliber. Who else have I interacted with? I think I briefly spoken to Neuro Sephiroth before. I know Moogle Master and I have switched some messages back and forth. Final Limits 1 as well. If I forget your name or whatever, I apologize. It's just this is all off the top of my head, so I probably interacted with those people very recently. So next, we're almost at the end. Reold Harold asks, did you ever watch Degrassi growing up since you are a Canadian? If so, which one was your favorite characters? I watched Degrassi Junior High when I was growing up, but when it became Degrassi High, I kind of tuned out. And my favorite character was probably, what's his name? The kind of chubby guy that hung out with the little Asian kid. Oh, I can't remember his name, but I don't know. He was always my favorite because he was genuinely nice most of the time, and I don't know. But to answer your other question, yes, I did watch Degrassi growing up, but apparently the next generation is amazing and I should watch it, but I still have to catch up with Degrassi High first, which luckily is on Canadian Netflix. Oh, my nose is so itchy. And my favorite character, probably that kid that I mentioned. I forget his name. It's going to drive me nuts. Real Harold asks, he says again, do you still watch Nickelodeon and Disney Channel today? I never watched either of those because we had, YTV, I guess, and I don't know, I guess in Canada we didn't really get those channels when I was younger. We didn't get Nickelodeon channels, so my exposure to Nickelodeon shows was few and far between, like Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy. Oh, I was so happy when it finally came to Canada. Let's see, Disney stuff. Well, there was the Disney Afternoon. Darkwing Duck is one of my favorite cartoons of all time. And DuckTales is alright too. retrospect, DuckTales. I didn't watch DuckTales when in its original run because I thought, nah, it's just a bunch of kids running around. But I watch it now and it's like, man, I was missing out on some grandiose, actual, epic, using the word correctly, adventures. So there you go.